I've been doing voiceover work for close to 20 years. That this give me a chance to at least give you guys some insight into the business if you guys are interested in being voice actors, or even just what the process is. And what I like to sort of start off by saying is location is of course the thing that is the hardest to deal with. You're here in Louisville, you say, well, how much voiceover work is going on here, especially animation stuff. You got New York, you got LA, you got Chicago, you got some places in Texas, you've got Canada even has a lot of that stuff going on. But what do I do if I'm an aspiring voice actor or just actor? You don't have to limit yourself to just say, I only want to do voice work, but let's say you want to do voice acting and you're here in Louisville. What do you do? And I get that question a lot in different smaller cities because it's tough. You're not going to pack up and go move to New York and say, I'm going to become a big voice actor now and, try to pay the rent there, because I'll tell you, after growing up and living there for most of my life, you can't afford it, especially as an actor. That's why most actors are waiters and things like that too. But if you're here, there are other ways to go about it. You can be a big fish in a small pond. There are ad agencies that probably look for people that are going to do commercials for them, whether it's radio or even TV spots. I'm sure you've seen local, and I'm talking commercials first because that's primarily where I made my living, was doing commercial voiceovers. Even though you guys know me from the cartoon world, the difference of what you make as doing cartoons to what you make when you do commercials for people is night and day. I made much more of a living doing actual TV and radio commercials than I did doing cartoons, though the amount of time it takes to make the cartoons is 10 times as long. I might have to do 18 hours a week to work on one show in a cartoon, and I might work for 1 hour on a radio commercial or a TV commercial, but it's almost 10 times the amount of money that you could potentially make. So don't limit yourself to saying, I love anime, I just want to do animation voices. I do funny voices in cartoons, I do funny voices in commercials. I use my real voice in cartoons, I use my real voice in commercials. So it's all about not limiting yourself to just going, well, I only like to do animation, that's what I'm going to do. So if you find that there are production companies in the area that might do commercials, you can find out if they have a casting department where they're looking for young voices. They might say, yeah, we're always looking for new people to do spots for us. So what do? Do you go, well, I want to show up and I'm going to read some scripts for them and I'm going to show them all the things I can do. Well, the hard part about this business is you're up against people like me who have been doing this for years. So you wouldn't go to a job interview without a resume, without something that shows that you know what you're doing, because that's your first impression. And if you go in there and you sort of look like a novice, they're going to go, well, why am I going to hire this person? So the other side of it is, well, maybe there is an acting school or classes in town. It doesn't have to be like going full time, but maybe somebody is available that can just even give you basic acting coaching. And the voice world is so much different than the on-camera or the theater world because you don't have the crutch of your physicality, or your physicality. Like I use this example a lot. If you went to see me in a play, and I was playing a guy who was supposed to be a mobster from New York, and I walked around and I talked like this, and I was doing this whole thing, we got to kill that guy, and I'm doing all these gestures, and I'm talking like that, you might think I did a great impersonation of it. He was so in character, because you're being fooled by the hands and the whole way he's talking. But if you close your eyes, you'd say, that's the worst New York accent I've ever heard in my life. But if I put my hands in here and I was like, let me tell you something about that. You think you're going to get away with that? That's ridiculous, right? It's about the voice work has to be so dead on to sell it, because you don't have the crutch of your physical motion to sell it in the voice world, right? So a coach can help you work on your diction, can help you work on your interpretation of a script. I find that the best voiceover actors and actresses read something as if it was their own words. Even if it's comedy, whatever, it's all about being believable. You can you can give somebody a script, and the minute they see those words, they start to read. At McDonald's, you can get. It's like they all of a sudden they panic. But if you can say, I really don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna use something that I do know. I've never eaten at McDonald's. I don't even know what their burgers taste like or their fries taste like. But I really like my mom's steak and potatoes. So I'm going to describe it with something that I know. And if you can just do stuff like that with whatever, now that's in the same category. You might give me a car commercial where I'm talking about the engine parts and all sorts of cool things and fuel injectors and stuff like that, and I might not have any idea what I'm talking about. But I go, well, I'm really good at I don't know, I can cook. So I'm going to talk about all the parts and how cool they all come together in a recipe. And I'm going to use that with these descriptive words. So if anything, try to make the words your own. Look at what those words are and say, well, would I say it like that if I were just talking to you? If I'm supposed to be your best friend giving you advice in this commercial, would I talk to you like that? Or would I talk to you like you're just my friend? So you have to make the words your own. So you go and you find yourself this coach, maybe, this teacher. And you say, have you done any voiceover work yourself? Because this is something that I'm really interested in. Most actors will probably tell you that they have here and there. A lot of times they'll say, yeah, I coach. I also make demo reels for people. Great. Well, can I hear some of your examples of your demo reels that you've produced or the people that you've worked with? If they don't have anything like that, then that's maybe not the best person to work with. If they do have something like that, listen to it and listen and say, does it sound like these are real commercials? Because even your demo reel, your fake spots that you create when you're first starting out, they need to sound like real spots. Because as a casting person, if I listen to that tape or that CD or whatever, your demo reel, and I'm being pulled by the production value, or that there's noise in the background, and why don't any of these spots have any music behind them? It makes me feel like they're not real, and then I'm no longer listening to your skill. I'm going, well, that maybe this means this person's never done anything before. Why would I go out on a limb and hire them? So they need to sound real. There's a website called voicebank.net, and on that are all of like working voiceover actors' little 1-minute demo reels, like agency reels. So like mine's up there. If you want to listen to what an example of a competitive working actor, you go, oh man, I gotta sound like that. I gotta have this going on. Okay, now I know at least what I need to do. It's and it's important to also understand that you need to spend money. If you do it on the cheap, it's going to sound cheap. So it's the investment. You wouldn't go to a job interview, in a big office, to be like maybe an attorney or something like that, wearing your blue jeans and a t-shirt. You go out and you buy that suit or you buy that dress and you look nice and you go and present yourself in a certain way. It's the same thing. Don't go for the cheap if it's truly an investment that you want to make, because that's your calling card. That's what you do. Here's what I do, and if they don't like what I'm doing, it's not because they're judging the production value. So you go to find this coach. You start working with somebody. They're giving you copy, and you're giving you direction. And I tell every actor, because I've done a lot of directing myself. At 4 Kids, I was a senior voice director, so I directed a lot of the shows that I worked on, as well as acted in them. So I got to work with all of those people as well. And what I've always told the actors is if I give you a script or I give you a line to read, make a choice of what you're going to do with it, and remember what you've done, so that if I give you input and direction based on what you've just done, you know how to alter it. I might say, the line is, I want to go to the store and get a sandwich. And I say, all right, here's the line, and you're really kind of hungry. I want to go to the store and get a sandwich. That's great, but can you slow it down? I want to go to the store and get a sandwich. Well, I didn't tell you to change the inflection. I just wanted you to slow it down. I want to go to the store and get a sandwich. No, see, I didn't tell you to do that at the end. I just wanted you to slow it down. So knowing what you did first, even if it's wrong, will allow you to then make a change. I've had actors in the booth where I've said, that was great, but can you do it again that way? And they go, I don't know what I just did. Well, I didn't make you do anything. I gave you the line, I gave you a little direction, but you need to know what you just did so that we can work together to do it. So don't just act in a, throw stuff out there. And also be adventurous. Sometimes you'll surprise a director. Sometimes they'll say, do the line like that, great. Now, do what do you feel? Do something on your own. You bring something to it that I might not expect. And you can be creative with it, but also remember, would anyone say it like that? Or would anyone do it like that? It's one thing to be creative. It's another thing to go like, well, who speaks like that? That's a strange choice. So let's say you're working with this coach, and it's a great coach, great theater teacher who really understands how to give you direction, and you're starting to learn how to read copy. You're starting to learn how to say things faster, say things slower, say things louder. It stress a certain word. As if any of you are singers or even just musical, you'll find that is such a help in the voiceover business. People who don't really hear music that way have a hard time when you say, can you go for that word and not that word? They don't understand that inflection is pitch and moving your voice. It's not louder, it's not softer. It's, I don't want to go to the store, or I don't want to go to the store. It's all about pitch. And I've worked with some very talented actors who don't have that ear, and things become very monotone. But the ones that are singers get the stuff like that. And they also get the pace. They also get, can you do it a little quicker? Sure, because I know what I just did. I can, if that's the tempo I was just doing it, I know how to do that faster. I know how to do that slower. Or syllables. Can you put a break after these 2 words and then do those 4 words? Got it. Put a line right through it. I got it. I know how to do that. So that's a big help if you're musical at all. So you're working with this person, you're starting to get a little bit of the give and take of the directing that's going on, and you're saying, good. And they say, we should start doing a demo reel. You're sounding great. We should start recording some of these things and putting together a small little teaser of what you're able to do. What I tell a lot of the people that I coach is, make me a list of what you think you can do. And I'm talking dialects, I'm talking some character voices if that's what you do. If you don't, that's cool too. I've got a lot of voiceover friends that just do their thing, just their voice, but they're great actors, and they don't really know how to sell the copy, or even in cartoons, that's the voice they play, that's what they're known for. But if you think you can do some interesting characters, or some great accents, they've got to be fantastic. Because if you think you do a great British accent, and it's not great, I can name 50 people that do a better one than you. If you think you do a great, Southern dialect, I go, well, which Southern state are we talking about? Can you do Texas? No. Are you doing North Carolina? Or you really know what you choose? And then, instead of being a sort of jack of all trades, be a master of what you do. So it might be, I do these 5 things really well. I thought I did these 10 things really well, but I really do these 5 things really well. And bring those to your coach or your teacher and say, I want to try this Southern dialect thing. I want to do that. I think this would be great. Okay, good. And I want to do this British thing, and I do this funny little boy voice that I can do. I do a great little thing, or I do this good old man voice. It's very funny. And I also want to do something that's dramatic, like maybe like a PSA for don't do drugs, like something that's like a narrator thing. Well, narration reels are different than. See, I'm sort of positioning the conversation as the in would be a commercial approach. Narration is a different story. Narration is you need to maintain that voice and that energy for long chunks of time. And a narration demo reel is like you can do 4 minutes of. Like, here's a minute of me reading something, or audiobooks. I do audiobooks as well. Here's like a long section where a commercial, like an agent or a casting director who's looking for commercial voiceover work will not listen to that. They do not want to hear that. The audiobook people and narration people, they want to hear that. They'll listen through that. But commercial people want, give me 10 seconds of that, good, great, I hear what you can do with that, good. Oh, here's something up in energy, that's great for another 5-6 seconds, good, let's move on to something else. They want to hear what you do, and boom, we're done.